What up, Super Fun Force? Good Captain, good Gamesta. Yo, guys, I'm dropping today's video to talk about what I think would be some amazing ways to improve this game. Since, like all of you, I'm super enjoying it. It's one of my favorite games now of all time. I'd rank my three favorite shooters current, and I hope to continue to be current, as Splatoon, Marvel Rivals, and Fortnite. Now, my favorite first-person shooter of all time, that'd have to go to a previous generation of games, being Battlefield 2, Spec Ops, Battlefield 2, Bad Company, even Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and Battlefield 1 had their heyday. I'm not going to get too much into it, but Battlefield 3, kind of started to lose a lot of players, and me, very, very glitchy. A lot of problems with that game. I remember the voice comms weren't working, a lot of frame rate issues, just really bad stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Battlefield will always be the first and only and best first-person shooter that I play. I actually did like Counter-Strike as well, but Counter-Strike just kind of got a bit boring for me. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's focus on Rivals because, like I said, this game is awesome. I'm a big fan of Marvel Comics. Not so much the biggest fan of the MCU. I think the MCU has some good stuff, good movies, good shows. Not a fan of all of them, but the comics, especially the 80s and the 90s comics, are my favorites. And if you watch more of my other videos on my channel, you can see the weekly comics I pick up locally, modern comics, mostly at my local comic store. Okay, so jumping into this, one thing I'll say right off the bat, it's pretty cool how they changed this in the most recent patch, where you can actually see the costume you have currently equipped on the character right here. And you can also see on the bottom underneath the name what your status is or your proficiency with them. So my Squirrel Girl is Lord because it has the red. Spider-Man, I believe, is still just a knight. Let me double check something here. Yeah, it's just a knight. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay, so Agent, Knight, that's right. I forgot the first one, Agent. But he's just a knight. Lord Thing. Also, I got like Loki. But here, this is my first tip to make this game even more awesome and more beautiful for the UX or the interface. They should add special borders around the characters. That's the next level. Now, it'd be cool because just like this, you see how they pop out of the gold border or kind of yellow? Imagine if every border already had something on it, because right now it looks a little bit plain. They're these like kind of tilted, rectangular shapes that are just pretty flat with no border until you highlight like here, and then you get the yellow outline. Now imagine if there were either borders that you can actually maybe purchase like super cheap, maybe like 50 credits to maybe do like a color option, like edit, or depending on how they space this out in the future, because there's plenty of room. If you look around these these 14 characters, there's plenty of room all along. I know they probably don't want to like spread it all the way out, but if they kind of create a little bit more gaps in between, you can actually have stock borders. And then lastly, there should be an option to have a Lord border. To me, that would look fantastic. Just even that by itself, like instead of when I look at all these characters right here on my first glance, to kind of look for that little red underneath, it'd be cool to see already like this, for example, like this is a Lord Captain America. So he'd be popping out over all the other characters. Let me know what you guys think. I think that'd be awesome. And I would totally be down for that. That's my first improvement for sure. I think that'd be a great way, again, to spruce it up, make things look a lot more beautiful. And another thing I want to talk about, I think this will be kind of character. Oh, one thing I want to mention, here's another bug. I might even do shorts of these a little bit. But when you guys do the battle pass, so funny. When you do a battle pass, right? And then like you, it's a perfect example here. Does she have the MVP? Yeah. So notice how when you purchase the MVP, just like anything else, it gives you the option to equip it. Funny thing is, I'm surprised nobody thought of it over at NetEase. The funny thing is, when you buy the MVP, you have to buy it before the character, right? Before you can buy the costume, I mean. So when you buy this, it gives you the option to equip it, and when you press equip, it says must equip the costume first. So it's kind of like, why are they even asking me if I want to equip it? Because they know that in order for me to even unlock this, I have to unlock the MVP, everything else on this page. So that's just a little, minor nitpick, but I used to be a QA game tester, so That'd be something that I would have brought up like right away. I would have had them like I would have put it as a bug fix just so that it would make more sense, right? Now, lastly, I want to kind of go into the heroes. I won't do a lot this video. I think the most important, I guess, two I want to talk about. It's kind of funny as Namor. I want to talk about Namor and I want to talk about Hulk. Namor really quickly. So with Namor, whatever. I just call him Namor at this time. I don't know what. I mean, in this game they call him Namor, so maybe that's the right way. But until I hear the official Marvel one, I have to go back and I don't know what they called it, how they pronounce it in the movie. That'd probably be the best, huh? Yeah, I don't remember. That movie was so bad. What movie was he in? I don't even remember anymore. Anyways, um, I just think it's funny that the way this character is designed, I guess for gameplay purposes, he's a powerful character, obviously. He's fairly easy to use. You can do a lot more better things with him the better you are. But the funny thing is, he is not at all accurate to the comic books. This is, I think, by far him and Psylocke, like I've mentioned in another video, maybe I'll talk about her really quickly, are probably the two most unrelated to the original character as possible. So I'll just quickly say why, and that's because his abilities, right? So, it's only until recent Marvel comics where he was actually holding a trident. And on top of that, summoning these little squids is like never something he's ever done in the comic books. Technically, he would have been a Vanguard because in the actual comics, first of all, he has flying, he does have the flying feet thing here. He can fly, and he's always been able to go toe-to-toe against Captain America, Hulk, even Thor, right? And as a matter of fact, the funny thing is, here's a tidbit for those of you who are interested in getting to know some of the comic books. Captain America has never been able to defeat Namor in straight-up brawl combat, hand-to-hand combat. Captain America is a superior fighter and strategist for sure, but Namor is just too physically dominant. Actually, he's, I guess, fluctuated between being just an Atlantean and being a mutant, but again, being able to fly, having super strength and invulnerability is actually what Namor is like in the comic books. So he is obviously very fragile in this game. Low HP, he cannot brawl at all, right? He just chucks harpoons. So it's just funny because so many iconic comics, Captain America is one of my favorite heroes. So there's like an iconic cover where like Cap and Namor are like slugging each other, like in a straight up like fist fight. And that's how Namor fights. He fights like a brawler, not a harpoon chucker for sure. I already mentioned before Psylocke, so I'll just quickly go over her really quick. She is totally this anime Naruto, run and poke character. When again in the comics, she never had a sword initially. She had only her Psyblade, and that's the way she fought. So she would have been more of a melee fighter, not the way she is in this, where she looks like this Naruto ninja that shoots daggers from her wrist. But that being said, I mean, she's not the most enjoyable for me to play, but her kit is very powerful, right? She serves a very specific purpose for being able to turn invisible, to flank, dive, just target down somebody. Really cool, but I guess it doesn't show the melee, melee attack here. Okay, and then lastly, before I end this stream, which I'll turn into a video, I want to talk about Hulk because I feel like I have an amazing analysis and suggestion for Hulk. So when I started playing Hulk, I didn't like him because I was like, man, this guy is not at all feeling like the kind of Hulk you see in the comic books that can just like brawl people and just destroy them. Like, see his punching? He looks like a tickle monster, right? He's just like lightly tapping you. Now I know in the actual gameplay, it adds up. It does damage, right? You can get KOs, but right here it's like, obviously they can't make it like the comics where it's like he would just obliterate Punisher in one punch. But what I've learned to do is see him more as the Gray Hulk initially, because in the comics, the Gray Hulk is more intelligent, more of a strategist, doesn't get quite as strong and raged as fast as the Green Hulk. So if I see, and that's why I bought this skin, this costume, and right off the bat, I stopped playing Green Hulk because I felt it was more thematic, like the moves he has makes no sense. Like this would never be in like a comic book. Why would he like walk up to someone or shoot someone with a lockdown and then just like leave them alone, right? Like it's something that would be a strategic and tactical, ability in this game. So that's why I said, okay, I can accept that as a gray Hulk. Definitely not a green Hulk. Okay. Other than that, the shield is kind of like the way of making him seem more invulnerable. I would have liked to have seen him just having more, more HP, because it's like a lot of times when you start playing the Hulk, you jump in, you feel like you're this unstoppable force, and the other team could just melt you down just like anybody else. I think he might even have like the same amount of HP as Penny, not a little, like 50 lower. I'll have to double check because I know they buffed Penny. But this guy seems like he should start with like 1,000 HP, and then when he gets into his super ultra move, which is where? Yeah, right here. This one should be like 2,000, right? See how this is 1,550? I feel like it should double. This should be like his 2,000 HP form. This is kind of like the Rage Hulk, and then he should normally be at 1,000. Now, the cool thing is, like I said, because it's the Gray Hulk, in my mind, it feels like he takes a while to get to this enraged state. So here it is. This is my super awesome idea. NetEase, if you use this idea, you got to pay me to be your consultant or something or work with you guys. But it would be awesome if making Hulk a unique, even more unique character, fitting his comics and fitting the gameplay of this to make it funner, more thematic and strategic is, check this out. In Smite 2, they have added this thing called Aspect. So basically, whether or not you're familiar with the game, all you need to know is that in the game of Smite, you pick these mythological deities, right? And they, just like Marvel Rivals, they have a set of moves that you activate. Now, if you pick an Aspect, something changes where like they lose a move changes or whatever, they gain a new move or some type of modification to their kit. So essentially there's two different characters in one. Now, for Hulk, because in the comic books he's always had that like split personality that he's always been dealing with, it would be awesome if when you pick Hulk, you literally have to pick either the green or the gray version. Genius, right? Check it out. If you bought, like me, the Gray Hulk, first of all, NetEase should refund you the credits, the 600, perfect. But now, when you pick the Gray Hulk, you would just basically get these moves, right? These are the kind of strategic moves where it's like, okay, I can flex, I can protect my team, I can keep myself up more, I can, tactically lock someone down for a few seconds, and then we can either focus them or they can't get healed and be on point, all that cool stuff. And then eventually, after, starting with 1,000 HP, it would take me a bit longer to get to this state that should have 2,000 HP. Now, following that up, I would say if you went and chose the Green Hulk, then what the Green Hulk should do is he should definitely charge up his ult faster. He should still have 1,000 to begin with and 2,000, but he should have some way of doing something cool, like instead of this, he should have a move where like he'll power himself up, and what happens is he'll take maybe a little bit less damage. As he gets damaged, his melee attacks increase in damage. That would be awesome. And it would build up his ult faster to make him feel like a Green Hulk who's running around, enraging faster and getting stronger. That is just awesome, guys. I don't care what else you might think. That is the way. That is the way of Hulk, Bruce Banner and Hulk. And obviously, again, it would make it fun because you could play him then exactly like a dive tank, on somewhere on the level of Captain America, where he's still a little bit slower. To balance it out, he can do more damage over time as he takes more damage. Actually, yeah, that'd be great. It's like the scaling. The lower his HP gets, maybe the damage goes up. That'd be cool. And then, instead of radioactive lockdown, it could be something like that, where it's maybe he gets another burst attack, right? Because other than this, right, like that's fine. Keep that on both Hulks. But instead of just locking someone down, maybe give him some other kind of damaging CC or stun. Maybe like a huge pop-up, like a giant uppercut that knocks them straight up into the air. Kind of like how Thing, but it knocks them straight up, and they can't really do anything for maybe 2 seconds and just fall back down. Or obviously you can hit them or jump them, because then you can set up cool combos. Wow, I just thought of that right now. Well, there you guys go. That is my conceptual ideas and theories on how to make this game even better, funner, but at the same time, it would make the game more competitive. Imagine going in with a Hulk and you have to guess with the other team, like, oh shoot, is he going to pick the Gray Hulk or is he going to pick the Green Hulk? Which one is he going to be, this one or that one? Like, is he going to be more offense, aggro, Green Hulk, then is he going to come out and be a little bit more strategic and a flex Hulk that can be, defensive and stuff like that? Well, there you guys go. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. I might try to put out more shorts because it'd be awesome if NetEase actually listened to this whole video and take into consideration my ideas. And if you guys spread the word, let people know and check out my videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll try to get some more videos, gameplays up soon, and just more things to talk about and more ideas. All right. Thanks so much. Peace.